All right, Tristian and Joe, correct?
Correct.
Let's assume that an alien lands on the planet right now. I am that alien. And I'd like to know more about the human culture. How you guys know things, how you figure things out, how your laws are set, and how you know that you're correct. So, what's something that you think is 100% true? Something that is significant about the human culture that you think is 100% true?
One thing that is 100% true is that due to the fact that we have a shorter lifespan, that a lot of us are normally in a rush. Just to get things done, to get from place to place, to achieve what we want, and then...
So humans have a shorter lifespan than whom? Than other animals?
Not other animals, like, say, one human that, I don't know, smokes, drinks, anything like that could potentially live a shorter lifespan than any other human or humanoid person.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. If you smoke, if you drink, you're going to damage your organs, and that might lead to a shorter lifespan.
Or the potential thrill seeker jumping out of an airplane. Oh, shoot, didn't go.
An accident. Okay. What about you, Joe?
I would say the one thing that is certain for all of us that we can all know right away is we're all going to die at some point. We're all going to face it. I would say also that we all kind of know there's something else out there that like created us. That all of this didn't necessarily just happen by just chance. There was some catalyst that drove it to create it all. It's too complex otherwise.
How do you define complexity?
Complexity. But say just like the
or if
building.
you guys can just move slightly over
Yep.
this, that's good. Yeah.
Even just the building that's right next to us. I mean, what originally formed the thought process to even create this?
I know that one.
So,
oh, hey, I want a building.
Yeah, but why is it built exactly like it is? Who thought of that? Where did that original thought come from?
So
for me, it's so much more complex than my mind can think of.
Well, for me, any creation or building, in this case, any creation originally takes... that's the steam clock we have at work.
Oh.
That's very annoying.
I had no idea that was a thing here.
It goes off every 15 minutes. Back home again in Indiana.
It's irritating after a while.
I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
It's totally startling if you don't know about it.
And, any creation idea, as I was saying, it originally comes up as somebody has a problem, somebody comes up with an idea to fix said problem. And it's like, oh, I need somewhere to conduct my business. I don't have anywhere to do that. Oh, well, we can make a building. And thus the idea kind of rolls downhill from there. And whether it takes off or not is basically up to the general person who came up with the problem.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. How about this idea of complexity that you guys mentioned? Something that is more complex than your own mind. Would you say that complexity is a hallmark of design?
Not.
I would say not
necessarily.
There's a lot of things that are very simple.
It can come from creativity, spirituality, things like that.
Right, but is there a definite sign that something is designed, or as you said, created?
Well, yes. I mean, I think so. Many other people may be of various opinion, but yes, I think that there was originally just something like that. Like, just something that originally just came into it. Doesn't nothing comes into fruition. I'm just gonna say that nothing comes into fruition. There may be.
How certain? Sorry, to cut you off there. How certain would you say you are when you say that nothing comes into existence, fruition?
I would be pretty certain on that one because, like on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd have to say I'm at least an 8 or a 9, because as far as nothing coming into fruition, I mean, obviously you or I was not a thing until somebody was like, "Oh, hey, I love you too." Okay. Yeah. It's all just a basic, well, not very basic, obviously. It's all comes down to just a greater plan than most of us know.
And how would we? Is there a way to know? You said that it is more than most of us know. Is there a method that we can use to find out? Is there a way to know more?
Well, every one of us goes through life not really knowing what is there for us. It just sort of happens, or we get, as I said, creativity or spirituality come into play, and not everybody believes in spirituality. I believe in spirituality.
How do you define spirituality?
A belief in a religion or a person or persons of which basically a great creator that created everything with a set path or a set plan.
Right.
That's my belief. I'm not pushing that on anybody.
Fair.
Because I believe that anybody who does push their religious or anything other belief on anybody is wrong. But that's my opinion, of course.
That's fair, and I'm glad you say that that you don't want to force it on anybody. That's a good thing. I met a similar individual just down this way actually earlier today, who was I would say just as convinced as you are about the Hindu gods that they have there. I don't know, they have several. And he was just as convinced as the world having come, the universe having come from Brahma, things of that nature. How would you say that your confidence level in your spirituality differs from this person's?
Confidence level, as far as differentiality, it varies because confidence level and differentiality is, well, in that sense, it's what makes us unique, because everybody has different confidence levels, everybody has different beliefs. Like, for example, he may believe in Hinduism, I myself believe in Christianity. That's just how I was raised, that's how I came to believe in everything I believe in. But as far as like differentialities, it's based on the unique character of each person, I would say.
You mentioned that you're a Christian because you were brought up this way?
Both out of being brought up this way and just learning more about Christianity and just comparing that to basic, like, science, like we were talking about earlier, just different theories and stuff. Yes, there are signs of different theories possibly being true. I myself believe in a creator. That's just based on, as I said, unique differentiality.
So you think that people can be brought up to believe in a false creator, perhaps? False gods? Like,
In a sense, yes.
Okay. So is there a different method that we can use rather than where we were brought up or who brought us up in what religion, what culture?
Well, my folks always taught me to not really differentiate by culture or by religion or anything like that. They
Right.
really just taught me to accept people for who they are and not really pass judgment because it is not for me to say.
Yeah, but if somebody were to find or want to find the truth between the two, let's say between yours or this Hindus, how would we go about finding that out? Because if you say that you were brought up this way and you know the Christianity to be true, and the Hindu says he was brought up in India and was brought up as a Hindu, and he believes because he is convinced of it because of that. I'm just trying to see if there's a different method that a third person might come into. I don't know what Joe here buys into, but if a third person comes into and wants to discern from one or the other, which one might be true, if any?
Personally, actually, this is kind of an interesting question because I've kind of been going down this path recently.
Yeah.
Of trying to figure out, what is the truth of life, kind of thing. And personally, in all the research I've done with like different religions and things, I think they all kind of have the general idea in just that there is a creator. I don't necessarily
Is that
believe that all of them are right
Right.
or wrong in their view of that creator. I believe they all acknowledge the same creator. They just don't see him in the proper way or the proper context.
so? What you're saying is that all, or at least most religions in the world are praising or talking about the same entity.
Yeah.
And they're just calling him by different names,
Yeah.
perhaps, and
So
different
they're
stories
calling it
associated.
by different names, and they see different aspects of him. Like, I've from different research and stuff, and coming from a Christian background myself, and I do still believe Christianity, absolutely.
Right.
But I
So,
also see where a lot of points in the Bible and stuff, in like the Old Testament and everything, you see a lot of like wrath and judgment, that side of a creator. And then there are other religions and stuff, you see more of the love and peace and joy, and I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think the creator is a conglomeration of all of that.
that's interesting. So, you mentioned that you believe in Christianity. You're a Christian, yeah? But you're saying that some of the things in the Bible are not necessarily true? Like some of the things in the Old Testament might be too...
I would say that they're true, but I think it's a matter of human perspective. Because
Could you give me an example?
I would say like the different, even just an example, like judgments poured out like on the nation of Israel and stuff. Like they went into captivity in Babylon or whatever. You're seeing a part of God that is casting judgment upon those people. And I think a lot of people in general would like to take things out of context and just look at that particular thing and be like, oh, well, God is more this or more that, when really I think God is an equal amount of all of it.
Okay. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying about God being a conglomeration. That's a hard word to say. Of all those things. What I'm trying to ask is if there's a way to know if what you're saying is correct, if it's demonstrable, if we can, if there's any way to test whether this creator is a conglomeration of all those things, or if it's just few of those things, or if it's just none of those things.
When it boils down to it, it's basically my perspective versus your perspective. Like, not all people of different religions are going to agree with different people because of how they were brought up or how they believe their religion to be true. It's basically, I know what my belief is. My belief is in God Almighty and a loving God, while another person of the same faith could see them as the great creator that if we slip up just a little bit, he will visit his wrath upon a person. Or it's basically, there's my perspective, there's his perspective, there's other people's perspective. It's all based on what we believe. Like what I believe, what you believe, what he believes to be true. That's how I see it.
All right.
I would say I don't know. Us being, the imperfect human beings we are, because I mean, there's still deaths, so we're not perfect in this world.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know that it's something that we will be able to say 100% for sure ever through any kind of demonstrable means. This side of life.
How about this? We've had a very productive conversation, and I think what we've come down to is we all understand that there are different perspectives in different religious texts around the world in different cultures. I'm going to be walking around here over the course of the next few days, next couple weeks or so, and maybe I can talk to you guys one more time. The goal here is to give you guys some time to think about what we talked about here, perhaps think about how we can determine one perspective from another, whether one can be determined as true. And maybe if I see you guys again, come say hi. Maybe we'll talk again.